Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Ziffity, and I am back for day 3 of my consistent uploads. I've been working really hard to try and keep these videos coming out. Even though it's only been 3 days, I'm working hard to make sure that they are as good as they can be. And yeah, so today I have a story about some crazy renters that my aunt had. And it's not really my story, but I thought that it was interesting, and I thought that I'd share it with you guys because it's kind of funny. But yeah, let's get right into it.
I'm finna give you my heart, just don't fucking break it, I don't know if I can take it, and if you don't feel it.
Okay, so to start this story off, I kind of have to give a little bit of backstory. So basically, my aunt and my uncle owned an apartment that they would rent out while they went on vacation or whatnot. So basically, they started renting it out to a couple who they had probably a 3-year contract with them that they were going to stay there for 3 years and then leave. And so while they were staying there, for the most part, they were really good attendants. Like, they would call, paid rent on time, and nothing ever seemed really out of the ordinary. They just seemed like normal renters. And for a while, that was super cool for my aunt and uncle. They were super happy because they didn't have to go and maintain the property because the renters were doing it. And after a while, the renters kind of started to stop responding to texts and stuff. They were still sending rent, but whenever they tried to get in communication or come for an inspection, the renters were super dodgy and were kind of just weird about them coming onto the property, even though if they were coming, they would give them notice. But the renters were very, very dodgy about when they were allowed to come and when they weren't. So eventually, they start just not paying rent, and my aunt and uncle are obviously very upset by this. So they start calling them and asking them where's the rent. They're trying to be as nice as possible to them. They're trying to just give them time. They were asking if they had fell under hardships or whatnot, and just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, not just that they stopped paying rent, which honestly, that's way more than I would expect anybody to do. If somebody stops paying rent, then I feel like at that point you don't owe them anything. All you owe them is 24-hour notice before you come and kick them out, pretty much. But so my aunt and uncle are being super, super nice to them. And eventually, after a couple months, they say, hey, listen, you guys haven't paid rent in months. We haven't heard anything back. You have a week to get all of your stuff out of the house. Which a week is crazy. Like, a week is a long time to move out of a house. Like, a week notice, especially after you haven't paid rent for 3 months, is crazy. So they were being super generous, and the people were like, okay, yeah, like, sure, like, we'll get out of here. And so for about a week, they didn't hear anything. And then at the end of the week, they got a call where the people were like, no, we're not moving out. Which is, you can't do that. You are renting a house from a person you signed a contract. If you break the lease, then they have all the right in the world to kick you out. But these people just said, no, we're not leaving. So my aunt and uncle said, hey, if you aren't going to leave, then we're going to have to call the cops and make them come kick you out. So after that threat, they're like, okay, well, can you give us another week? And my aunt and uncle are being so generous. Like, when I say so generous, they are being insanely generous and say, yes, like, you guys can have one more week. And so a little bit of time goes by, and the week is almost over. They call and they're like, hey, have you guys almost moved out? And the guys are like, yeah, like, we're almost moved out. And it was a husband and a wife, and they were kind of on the weirder side. Like, I don't know, didn't really talk to people, but so they're like, yeah, sure, like, we're almost out, like, you can have this house back, blah, 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 like, kind of just being mean about it, just like, no, like, yeah, sure, fine, you can have your house back. It's not like we're paying for it, which you weren't. You're not paying for it, so you got to get out. But so my aunt and uncle are like, okay, cool, they're moving out, everything's fine. And so about a week after they told them to move out, and a week after they said that they were going to move out, they go to check the house and make sure that it's, like, clean for when they show it to the next people that are trying to rent. And when they walk in, the people that were renting the house destroyed the house. All of the tile in the bathrooms was pulled up. all holes throughout all the walls, spray painted walls. All the wood floors had hammer, like mallet holes through them. Like if you took like a sledgehammer and just beat the floors and just left holes, that's what it looked like. All of the cabinets were ripped down. Sawdust was poured down all of the drains and all the showers, all the sinks, and their barn, half of it was just like knocked over. So I mean, I'm trying to give you guys a good visual here, but so the house is kind of in the middle, and then there's the house, and then there's a barn, and the whole barn, half of it was just gone, and then the house was just destroyed on the inside. They later found out that they were doing some illegal activities, cooking some stuff in a kitchen that is not food. But so basically they get all that sorted out, or they come to the house and they see all that, and they are just astonished, and they call to see, like, to ask them, hey, like, why did you guys do this? And no response, nothing, radio silence. So after a while, they're looking around, and they see that one of the cars is still parked in the barn. And that car, they were like, okay, well, they have to come back for the car, and then we can confront them. That car sat there for probably a month with nothing, and the police finally had to come and take it. But they were radio silent, never said anything. And so after some time, cops are involved, and my aunt and uncle are trying to get their house remodeled. And they start picking it up, and then like halfway through all this, the people come back and just trash the house again. Like they had gotten most of the trash out and cleaning it. The people came back, trashed the house again, and that time there was cops waiting at the house, just kind of doing inspections, seeing if they were going to come back, and they got arrested that time. They came back, the police saw them destroying the house, they got arrested, and they had to pay a bunch of fines. And my aunt and uncle were very, very, very upset because their house that they had worked really hard to buy was, at this point, the inside was just demolished. And so they had to go and they remodeled everything. They worked really hard, got the entire inside remodeled again, and now they're trying to rent it out. But the people that destroyed it, they were charged with a couple crimes. One was possession of some substances that I can't say on YouTube. Two was a something for breaking the lease. And then the third one was something about like destruction of property, something like that. But they basically got hit really, really hard. And now everybody's fine. We kind of look back on it and laugh a little bit. It happened a while ago, so it doesn't really affect us that much anymore. They have new clients. Their new renters are super, super awesome, and they really like them. They kind of keep to themselves a little bit, but they're not as secluded as the first guys. Honestly, it could have been a lot worse. They could have never caught the people, or the house, or my aunt and uncle couldn't. They could have been in a position where they couldn't have had the time to fix everything the way they did. But now everything's all good. We look back and laugh. I thought that this was a pretty funny story and kind of a crazy story. But yeah, that is my third video for my 90 days of uploading. I am working very, very hard to keep these coming out for you guys, and I really hope you guys are enjoying them. If you are, please make sure to drop a like and comment. If you do comment anything, please comment some suggestions on how I could do better. I'm really, really working hard to try and make this channel good. I really like the direction that it's headed in, and I think that together we can all make this a really cool channel. Yeah, thank you guys so much again. If you did like the video, please leave a like. If you didn't, tell me why in the comments below. But yeah, that's it. I'm Ziffity, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
After the last time that we kissed, you took my fucking heart, it broke. Now I'm fucking heartless, so I think that might overclose. I might just